Hello, is anybody there? Hello? Hello, is anybody there? Is there anybody out there? Can anybody actually hear me? Is anybody out there? Nobody? Maybe there's nobody out there. Maybe there's... 현지손님, thank you so much for tuning into the stream. Kiki님, thank you so much for coming. I thought I was the only one up at this hour. I thought I was I didn't think anybody would join me this morning. I thought nobody would join me this morning. You're here, that's great. It's you, Mario. Are you just calling yourself Mario for no reason? Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? 우재, 채님, 강수현님, MGCom. You're on your way to work. Wow, so early. It's only 6:30 in the morning and you're already on your way to work. Well, you got to do what you got to do, right? How is everyone doing today? How's everybody doing? How are y'all doing? 유니스님, 태암님, 나오님, 이승현님, 건우님. Hey, Konu, it's been a while. I haven't seen you in a while. Goodness, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Yes, YG, as always, pleasure to have you with us. You're on the subway to work. As soon as I was tuning, I'm here. You were saying, is anybody there? Because, I fired up the stream and there was like nobody in the chat. And I was getting kind of scared. Hey, 방은경님, what's up? What's going on? How are you this morning? How are you this morning? 어제 뵌 것 같은데. No, we didn't stream last night. What's wrong with this damn chair? We didn't stream last night, did we? 손현지님, I'm not in Korea and it's nightmare here. Uh-oh. Where are you? You're not in Philadelphia, are you? I don't know. I'm just sorry if you're in Philadelphia, but I just heard some really bad things about Philadelphia. So why do you say... Oh, shoot, I forgot to add the coffee. Damn, it's just hot water. 방경. Then what do I say? 방경? I just say 방경? Good morning, Sim. Hey, it's my pleasure. I love hanging out with you guys. Hey, what's up? 새로운 방송 스케줄이네요. Well, yeah, I'm just, I'm trying to get used to this new kind of routine where I stream once in the morning and once in the evening. And I know that we streamed we streamed here on the main channel last night. But if I keep that up, that means that we're always streaming in the mornings on the toddler channel and in the evenings on the main channel. And I didn't really want that to be a fixed thing. So I figured I would just mix it up. Yeah. You're working. Oh, you're working out. Oh, that's great. Hey, Sunny, what's up? Make it YW님. Hey, it's been a while. How have you been? 설마 월요일도 생각하는 순간 알리는 이제만 대청소 마치고 What? 쇼츠나 볼까 하고 들어 누웠는데 라이브 알람이 떴네요. 하지 말고 공부할 신에게 계시네요. Come on. It's just me. God had nothing to do with this. Yeah, good morning. 방경 or yeah. Okay. All right. Gotcha. Whatever you want. Yeah, so nice to have everybody here this morning. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, 문원님. How you doing? 문원님. Why does that sound so familiar for some reason? The weather has gotten much colder. Take care not to catch a cold. That's right. Although I don't think it's the temperature that really gives you the cold, right? It's probably, I don't know what it is, but yes, I definitely will take care of myself. You too, 하나님. 여긴 캐나다고 아직 일요일 오후 2시 반. Okay. Good. Alright, so you're watching from Canada. You're tuning in from Canada. I'm glad to join the stream. I just got up because of nightmare, but I don't remember now what I've got. Just emotional feeling. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't. I hardly have any dreams. I do occasionally, but 캥아리님, what's up? How you doing this morning? 이거 라이브냐고요? No, this is not live. This is a pre-recorded video. How are you doing? Maybe. Maybe. 요즘 선생님 연습까지 보면서 영어 공부하고 있습니다. 감사합니다. 너무 잘 되고 있어요. Oh, that's great, Johnny. That's such good news. So good to hear. Which one are you on? 여기는 호주. Oh, you're in Australia. Okay. It's right because we share a very similar time zone with Australia, don't we? There's only about like an hour or two difference between here and Australia. JY님? 와, 저는 꿈 진짜 많이 꾸는데 안 꾸는 분들 신기하더라고요. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think I used to dream quite a bit when I was younger, but for some reason I just stopped. Hey, how you doing? 그래서 영어 쓰면 계속 고통받다 끝나요. Well, at least you're experiencing that somewhere, right? Because we all, as English learners, we all have to go through that at one point or another. I've been living in Brazil since 2021. Oh, okay. So you've been there for like 3 or 4 years. Hey, Jenny, how's it going? How you doing this morning? So, what took you to Brazil? What are you doing in Brazil? Obviously, you're working there, right? And you're working and living there. So, what kind of work do you do there? I'm kind of curious. I've never been to Brazil or any part of that part of the world. Good morning, Porisunim. How are you doing this morning? I hope everyone is having a great morning. Although it's a Monday, we're doing this. Oh no, JB name. Hey, it's good to have you with us, but this is not live. This is a pre-recorded video, unfortunately. I recorded this yesterday, and you're watching it now. Hello, it's been a while, Sam. Hey, yeah, I remember you. Yeah, you came to like 2 of my events, didn't you? I'm doing okay. How are you doing? I'm doing all right. Hey, I'm here. I'm streaming I'm with you guys. What could I complain about, right? Hey, Sonanim, how's it going? How's your weekend? I've been abroad for a while. Oh, okay. Are you back now? I'm so glad to see you. It's been a long time. Yeah, it's been a while. So you're back in Korea? Where have you been? Oh, thank you, I guess. Oh, you're in Switzerland, okay? 여긴 일요일 저녁. It's okay. So it's 11:30 at night. Sunday night in Switzerland right now. Okay. All right. So, how long have you been in Switzerland? You're not just traveling there, are you? Good, thanks. You for remembering. Wow, it's I mean, yeah. I guess you made an impression. 귤젤리. How are your eyes? My eyes are almost completely back to normal. As you can see, you can probably see no red spots in my eyes. Nowadays I look at the mirror, I don't notice it at all. There's still a very slight hint of the blood vessel burst, but it's almost all gone. Good morning. BJ the Great, how are you doing this morning? How are you doing? How many people do we have? We have like maybe 80? 160, that's a lot. That's a lot of people. Morning, yeah. Okay, so I would like to get into my story now. I have a story that's actually, it's 100% true story. I was actually meaning to do this yesterday, but for some reason I got kind of sidetracked and I didn't actually get to tell this story. It's not really much of a story. It's just something that I did yesterday. And as I was writing out this story, I realized that there are actually quite a few expressions that we either never covered on this channel in any of my videos or my live streams. And there are maybe a few expressions that are reviewing what we learned before, a few of them. But a lot of them are expressions that I believe that I've never really covered in any of my content. So I'm just going to go. You don't have to, I'm sure you guys are all busy this morning, so you don't have to be so active in the chat. I'm just going to tell the story again and again to kind of get this in your head. Okay, and I will be pointing out the expressions that I want you to learn this morning. Or at least the expressions that I would like you to try to learn. Spend the time to learn. All right, let's reduce the music a little bit to the bare minimum. Yeah, all right. Okay, so here's the story. First, I'm just going to tell you the story without showing you anything on the screen, okay? So my wife and I took our dogs out yesterday. We went to Jongro in Seoul, and we spent pretty much the entire day out there. We don't go to Seoul all that often unless duty calls, but it was so beautiful out yesterday, as you all probably know, and it just felt wrong not to be out. We had actually considered going somewhere farther away, but we didn't want too much of the day to slip by on the road. We didn't do anything special in Seoul, but we didn't need to because it was just so nice out. It was just so nice to be out there, you know? Plus, there's nothing Amber likes more than meeting random strangers on the street. Yeah, that's her favorite thing to do on any day. She just loves to meet just random strangers and say hello on the street, which was the reason we chose Jongro of all places, because we figured that's where she would likely get to meet a lot of people. And boy, did she meet a lot of people. At one point, Amber was surrounded by so many people that it felt like a petting zoo. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of those people thought that it was an organized event by the city or something. In fact, one of the people in the crowd, one of the people actually came up to me and asked who Amber was. She was like, "Who is she?" And at first I didn't really know what she meant. And I just said, that's my dog. And she seemed so confused. She was like, what is she doing? That's my dog. That's my dog. Okay, so that's the end of the story. How many of you at least felt like you understood 100% of the story? Oh yeah. I just finished a story. I'm gonna tell the story again because we're gonna have people joining in. All right, so let me go through. JB, you understood 100%? Really? Okay. All right. That's great. Good for you. All right, let me tell the story again. My wife and I took our dogs out yesterday. We went to Jongro in Seoul, and we spent pretty much the entire day out there. We don't go to Seoul all that often unless duty calls, but it was so beautiful outside yesterday, as you all probably know, and it just felt wrong not to be out. We had actually considered going somewhere farther away, but we didn't want too much of the day to slip by on the road. We didn't do anything special in Seoul, but we didn't need to because it was so nice to just be out there. Plus, there's nothing Amber likes more than meeting random strangers on the street. That's like her very favorite. That's her absolute favorite thing to do on any day. Which was actually the reason we chose Jongro of all places to go, because we figured that's where she would likely get to meet a lot of people. And boy, did she meet a lot of people. At one point, Amber was surrounded by so many people that it felt like a petting zoo. And I felt like an animal tamer or like an animal wrangler. I wouldn't be surprised if some of those people thought that it was an organized event by the city or something. In fact, one of the people that were waiting, yeah, we actually had people waiting to say hello to Amber. And in fact, one woman came up to me and asked me who Amber was. She was like, "So who is she?" And I just said, yeah, that's my dog. Actually, no, nobody actually recognized me. Oh, maybe someone did and just didn't bring it up, but no, as far as I could tell, nobody really recognized me. But then again, I had my hat on and my sunglasses on because it was really bright out yesterday, and so I doubt that anybody actually recognized me. I doubt it. Why did I not get notification? You should send YouTube an email about that. And you should add the hell after the why. So why the hell did I not get a notification? Why are you guys so inconsistent with the notification function? All right, so let me go through the story one more time. And I would like you to really try to focus on the expressions that I want you to try to focus on the expressions that you're not very familiar with, or any sort of word choice that doesn't really come naturally to you, okay? Didn't you hear this statement? Cute things save the earth. Cuteness will save the earth. Yes, I have heard that before, and I know where that message. I kind of agree with that to some extent. Anyway, so let me go through the story again, and this time try to focus on the expressions or any sort of word choice that doesn't just come naturally to you, okay? My wife and I took our dogs out yesterday, and we went to Jongro in Seoul, and we spent pretty much the entire day out there. We don't go to Seoul all that often unless duty calls, but it was so beautiful out yesterday, as you all probably know, and it just felt wrong not to be out. We had considered going somewhere farther away, but we didn't want too much of the day to slip by on the road. We didn't do anything special in Seoul, but we didn't need to because it was so nice just to be out there. Plus, there's nothing that Amber likes more than to just meet random strangers on the street, which was actually the reason we chose Jongno of all places, because we figured that's where she would likely get to meet a lot of people. And boy, did she meet a lot of people. At one point, Amber was surrounded by so many people, it felt like a petting zoo. And I felt like an animal wrangler, taming Amber. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of those people who were waiting to meet Amber thought that it was some sort of organized event by the city. In fact, one woman came up to me and asked who Amber was. She was, just straight up. She was certain that this was some kind of organized event, or at least she seemed like she was certain. And she asked me, "Who is she? Who is that? Who is that dog?" And I don't know. Maybe she thought it was some famous dog. And I just said, that's my dog. Unless duty calls. That's right. So what does that mean? Unless duty calls. surely you can understand what it means from the context, right? So what does that mean? What does that mean? Unless duty calls. 업무체. I'm not sure what that means. Right. So unless there is some work-related responsibility or a work-related thing that I have to do, something that I have to attend to that is work-related, right? Like some sort of business I need to conduct, some sort of job that I need to do, any sort of responsibility that you have that's work-related, right? So unless it's not a duty call, I guess I could have said unless it's a duty call, but there are a few different ways to say this. So I decided to say unless duty calls. I could have said unless I had a duty call, right? Or unless I have a duty call. So unless duty calls. Okay, so let me read that section one more time. In fact, one woman came up to me and asked who Amber was. One woman came up to me and asked who Amber was. 길에 시간 버리기 싫어서 멀리 안 갔다는 표현이 not that familiar. Okay, very good. Thank you for that. Let me read that section one more time. So we had actually considered going somewhere farther away, but we didn't want too much of the day to slip by on the road. So let me kind of switch frames here and show you exactly what I mean. Unless duty calls. Unless duty calls. And the next one. Wait, hold on a second here. We had considered going somewhere farther away, but we didn't want too much of the day to slip by. We didn't want too much of the day to slip by. We didn't want too much of the day to slip by. Yeah, like an animal wrangler. Animal wrangler. I'm not sure if that was the best way to put it. Let me ask. What is an animal wrangler? An animal wrangler is a person responsible for handling, managing, and controlling animals. So that's the first line of the definition of an animal wrangler. So an animal wrangler is a person responsible for handling and managing and controlling animals. I guess at a zoo, yeah, yes, wrangler. Yeah, it's a job. It's a job. Have you never like gone to maybe an amusement park or like a public event in a public place where there is an animal and like maybe like a horse or something? And 사육사, I think that's a animal trainer or a tamer. Yeah. 강영욱 is probably I don't really know what his official title is, but I'm guessing he's a dog trainer. He's most likely a dog trainer. So his main job is not like handling and managing, but rather like training, right? So he's probably a dog trainer. Anyway, so the first expression that came up that you guys are asking about is this one, unless duty calls. We don't go to Seoul all that often unless duty calls. So unless there is some sort of work that I need to do, I don't go to Seoul all that often. we had considered going somewhere farther away, but we didn't want too much of the day to slip by on the road. That means in the car, driving, right? We didn't want too much of the day to slip by. It's a very commonly used phrase, not wanting too much of the day to slip by. There was actually another one. This is not something that we never covered in our previous streams or videos, but one thing that I said was let's see. How did I express this? How did I express this in my story? You guys remember? Did I say it didn't feel wrong not to go somewhere? Remember, JC, you have two negatives in that sentence. You have two negatives in that sentence. Right. It felt wrong not to do something. It felt wrong not to do something. Yeah. And I think that's one of the we've covered this expression before. But I think this is a very important expression because we often feel compelled to do a lot of things, right? And we do things, I mean, when you really try to analyze why, of course there are reasons to that, but it just felt wrong not to. Yeah, I mean, you can use just, or you don't really have to use just, but it felt wrong not to. Right. We covered it in a stream, yes. And it's just one of those expressions that are used so often. At least I use it very often. Because we often feel compelled to do things, right? And we don't often really know why exactly. And I think that's like the two aspects of this expression. Those are the two aspects of this expression. You feel compelled to do something, but you're not exactly sure why. And so it feels wrong not to do something, right? Yeah, I mean, this is a very, very typical example of that. So, it was so nice out yesterday, as you probably all know, and it just felt wrong. So there are several different ways you can say that. You can say it felt wrong. It felt wrong to just stay home. That's one way to say it. And the other, from, approaching it differently, you can say it felt wrong not to go somewhere, right? Of course, in my story, I said it just felt wrong not to be out. This is the way I phrased it in my story. So let me just tell this story one more time from the beginning, and I would like you to catch these phrases here. Unless duty calls, it felt wrong not to be out, and we didn't want too much of the day to slip by. So my wife and I took our dogs out yesterday. We went to Jongro in Seoul, and we spent pretty much the entire day out there. We don't go to Seoul all that often, unless duty calls. But it was so beautiful out yesterday, as you all probably know, and it just felt wrong not to be out. We had actually considered going somewhere farther away, but we didn't want too much of the day to slip by on the road. We didn't do anything special in Seoul, but we didn't need to because it was so nice just to be out there. Plus, there's nothing Amber likes more than to just meet random strangers on the street. That's like her favorite part of any day, which was why we chose Jongno of all places, because we figured that would be where she could meet a lot of people. And boy, did she meet a lot of people. At one point, Amber was surrounded by so many people that it felt like a petting zoo. And I felt like an animal wrangler. taking Amber around to meet people. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of those people thought that it was an organized event of some sort. In fact, at one point there were like people lined up to meet Amber, and one woman came up to me and asked who Amber was. She looked so certain that it was some sort of organized event, and I was the animal wrangler. And she came up to me and asked, who is this? Who is it? And she seemed very confident that I would have an answer. And it was pretty clear that she was expecting a very specific answer. Like, oh, this is someone, and she's from where? But I just said, oh, that's my dog. I said, that's my dog. Instead of saying sorry, you should say apologize. I feel wrong not to. No. You shouldn't say I feel wrong. You should say it feels wrong. It feels wrong. It feels wrong not to apologize. Oh yeah, this story is absolutely true. It's absolutely true. My wife and I took our dogs out yesterday. We went to Jongro in Seoul, and we spent pretty much the entire day out there. We don't go to Seoul all that often, unless duty calls. But it was so beautiful out yesterday, as you all probably know, and it just felt wrong not to be out. We had actually considered going somewhere farther away, but we decided that we didn't want too much of the day to slip by on the road. We didn't do anything special in Seoul, but we didn't need to because it was so nice just to be out there. And there's nothing Amber likes more than to just meet up with random strangers on the street. She loves that. That's like her favorite thing to do on any day. Which was actually why we chose Jongno, of all places, because that's where she would likely, we figured that's where she would likely meet a lot of people. And boy, did she meet a lot of people. At one point, Amber was surrounded by so many people that it felt like a petting zoo. And at one point, I felt like an animal wrangler taking Amber around to have her meet people, to have people meet her. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of those people thought it was an organized event because there was such a big crowd. And in fact, one woman came up to me and asked who Amber was. She's like, "Oh, who is this?" And I said, "That's my dog. That's my dog. It feels wrong not to go to a cafe after work." Really? Okay. So that's kind of like how you unwind after a long day at work, yeah? It sounds like that's how you unwind. Yeah, well, yes, you're right. It's based on a true story. It's not just based on true story. Like everything about this is true. This is exactly what happened yesterday. There's nothing more that Amber likes. There's nothing that Amber likes more than to do something. Yeah, that's another expression that I'd like you to learn. So the line was this: there's nothing Amber likes more than to meet. Let's say to meet. I'm gonna say then meeting. I guess it doesn't. In this case, it doesn't really matter. There's nothing Amber likes more than to meet random strangers on the street. Yeah, I know, right? That's exactly how I feel every time this happens with Amber. Like when we take her out, and the way she just meets people so naturally and comfortably with no hesitation at all. And there's just nothing unnatural about the way she does that. She seems like a pro mingler or something like that. She just mingles with people so naturally and so like on almost on a professional level. She's so good at it. I have no idea. Like whatever. I don't really know anything about MBTI, but when it comes to Amber, she's got the best MBTI. She's got the best one. I don't even know if there's such thing as the best MBTI, but if there is such thing as like a good and bad MBTI, Amber has the best one. And it's not thanks to me or anything. She was just born with it. I don't think she ever like worked on it or anything. And you know what I think it is? I think probably the main reason she's so good at it is because she doesn't look like a very handsome. She's really pretty. Like nobody can really explain why, but she's just so pretty looking. And I wish I could share like a picture of her or something, but she's so pretty looking, but nobody can really explain why. But she looks unlike any other retriever. She's a retriever as far as I understand, but she looks unlike any other retriever. And there's just something about her that's so easy for people to approach. I don't know if I'm making any sense here, but has Amber met in? Oh yeah, like yesterday because we were out in Jongno, and you know how it is nowadays in Jongno, right? They're like probably more foreigner. You can probably see more foreigners than Koreans there nowadays. And yeah, yesterday, I think the first foreigners she said hello to were these couple of Japanese ladies. These ladies from Japan. I actually asked them, "Oh, are you from Japan?" And she says, "Yes, they're from Japan." And they actually spoke to me because I don't speak Japanese, and they didn't seem like they spoke Korean. And I guess I don't know why I spoke in English. I guess I should have just spoken in Korean. But yeah, there's something about Amber that makes it so easy for people to approach. And one of the reasons is, first of all, she's much smaller than your average retriever. She's a lot smaller. She's only 25 kilograms, probably less than that now. And she's got really short legs. She's so much shorter than your average retriever. And so although she has the looks of a retriever, she just isn't. She's just a very small dog when you consider that. And oh yeah, no, you can say that. Yes. Actually, you know what? Now that you mention it, that sounds more natural, I think, than meeting. There's nothing Amber likes more than meeting random strangers on the street. Does Amber react both to both languages, English and Korean? Amber's dual language. No, she doesn't understand English. It felt wrong. It felt wrong, not I felt wrong. My wife and I took our dogs out yesterday. We went to Jongro in Seoul, and we spent pretty much the entire day out there. We don't often go to Seoul unless duty calls, but it was so beautiful out yesterday, as most of you probably know, and it just felt wrong not to be out. We had actually considered going somewhere farther away, but we just didn't want too much of the day to slip by on the road. We didn't do anything special in Seoul, but We didn't need to because it was so nice just to be out there. And there's nothing Amber likes more than meeting complete strangers on the street and just mingling with them. She's so good at it. Which was actually why we chose Jongro of all places, because we figured that's where she would get to meet the most amount of people. And boy, did she meet a lot of people. At one point, Amber was surrounded by so many people that it felt like a petting zoo. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of those people thought that it was an organized event. In fact, one woman came up to me, and that's when I really felt that. One woman came up to me, and she really spoke to me as if I was someone who was supposed to be there. Do you know what I'm trying to say? She treated me as if I was some like a staff member for that event. And she said, "Oh, so who is this?" She was so natural about it. And I said, that's my dog. That's my dog." Well, if I'm being really honest, I think Amber understands what people say only when she wants to. When she wants to ignore people, she does. She, like I said, like she loves meeting random strangers on the street, but I don't know what it is, but some people she just completely ignores. I don't know why. I think Amber likes it when people have a strong scent. Of course, I don't know. I don't really know. Yeah. Yeah. She came over to me and she didn't really even look directly at me. You know how when you talk to like a staff member at a facility or an event, sometimes when you're talking to them, you don't really look directly at them because let's be honest, we often don't really like we don't really sense that they're like another human being like yourself. Especially when they're like a staff member of a facility. You just kind of go over there and treat them like they're part of the facility, right? You just go over there and say, "Oh, so how do I do this? Where do I go to do this?" And that's kind of how I felt when she talked to me. She came and it felt like she's like knocking on me and say, "Oh, so who is this?" Oh, okay. So you have a dog. She passed away, and she was the same way. That's yeah, that's gonna be my reality a few years from now, I guess. Please cue everyone. Please take a picture one person at a time. I don't know. I don't know about that. She requires because Amber is kind of out of control when she's out there. She just does whatever she wants. She goes wherever she wants, and so she's really out of control. It's really hard to actually keep her under control. She gets really excited out there. She charges towards anybody that makes eye contact with her. She just charges towards them and just loves to like, yeah. So she requires a lot of care and attention out there. So I don't think I could, I don't think I could actually, film anything or something. I suppose I could use like a camera around my neck or something, but. All right, so let me go through this story one more time, and I would like for you to do the same thing, okay? Try to identify those expressions and the word choices that you yourself are not very familiar with, okay? Yeah, She just charges. She charges towards people. And not in a like an aggressive or a hostile way. She's just so happy to meet people. And when people make it's amazing how she actually recognizes eye contact. So when people make eye contact with her, she just runs towards them. And I always have to like keep her on, because I always have her on a leash. And oh yeah. Anyway, so my wife and I took our dogs out yesterday. We went to Jongro in Seoul, and we spent pretty much the entire day out there. We don't go to Seoul all that often unless duty calls. But it was so beautiful out yesterday, as most of you already know, and it just felt wrong not to be out on a day like that. So we had actually considered going somewhere farther away than Seoul, but we decided that we didn't want too much of the day to slip by on the road. And we didn't do anything special in Seoul, but like I said, it was so nice out, and we didn't need to do anything special. It was so nice just to be out there. Plus, there's nothing that Amber likes more than to just meet up with random strangers on the street and mingle with them. And that's like her favorite thing to do on any day. Which was exactly why we went to Jongno, of all places, because we figured that's where she would get to meet the most amount of people. And boy, did she meet a lot of people. At one point, Amber was surrounded by so many people that it felt like a petting zoo. Like there was a huge crowd. In fact, I think some people were actually looking for a line to get in. They thought, oh, so where's the line? Where do I have to stand in line to meet this dog? And so I wouldn't be surprised if some of those people thought that it was an organized event of some sort. And in fact, one woman came up to me and just casually asked me, oh, so who is this? And I just said, that's my dog. That's my dog. Okay, so another expression that I would like you to take note of is, let's see. Boy, did she meet a lot of people. This is kind of an exclamation phrase. And boy, did she meet a lot of people. So this was followed by another previous line. It was followed by something else previously. So I said, that's why we chose Jongno, because we figured that's where she would get to meet a lot of people. That's why we chose Jongno, because we figured that's where she would get to meet a lot of people. And boy, did she meet a lot of people. So this is kind of like an exclamation. It's like you know what an exclamation is, right? This is kind of like an exclamation. Oh, did she meet a lot of people? And it probably deserves an exclamation mark. I can't say exclamation. Good morning, Sam. I get ready to work. So late. 문장이 맞는지 모르겠어요. You're getting ready for work. She's getting ready for work. 홍영희님, say, I'm getting ready for work. I'm getting ready for work. And you're running late. That's how you say it. Yes, that's right. It's kind of like an exclamation. I can't say exclamation because of these damn teeth. Yeah, it's an exclamation. Well, of course, not always. It's really difficult to justify the use of always when it comes to anything in language. There's really no such thing as always. Did she? She did. Did she? It's it's the way people kind of express, like, emphasize what happened. It's so in Korean, it's kind of like, I think we do something similar in Korean. We say something like, right? We also use it in, it's like a question form, right? It's kind of like a question form, but it's not really a question. It's an exclamation, right? That's why we chose Jongro. That's where we, that's, wait, there's some, yeah, you're right. There's something wrong with this. That's where she, yeah, that's where she. That's why we chose Jongro, because we figured that's where she would get to meet a lot of people. And boy, did she meet a lot of people. Boy, did she meet a lot of people. Yeah, it's just it's just a kind of a very common construction that they use in English to emphasize. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. Boy is just a very, very commonly used exclamation in English. It's like, whoa, boy, that was hard. Like, if something was really tough and really difficult to do, it's just something that they often use. Oh, boy, that was hard. Boy, this is heavy. I don't know why. So that's why we chose Jongro, because we figured is another expression that Korean people hardly ever use, but I think we've covered this in the past. We figured that's where she would get to meet a lot of people. Yeah, man is used as well. Man, does she meet a lot of people? Yeah, you can say man. Sure. You can even curse here. You can even curse if you want to. You can say, and damn, does she meet a lot of people? You can say that too. It's a very common thing that people say. There are many exclamations. And when it comes to exclamations, you know, there are just so many options. So that's why we chose Jongno, because we figured that's where she would get to meet a lot of people. And boy, did she meet a lot of people. Is it because the air has gotten so much colder? My nose is getting all congested. Oh, okay. And the next one is, I wouldn't be surprised if. I wouldn't be surprised if something happened. I wouldn't be surprised if something happened. You're getting ready for work. Yeah, I'm not 발모쌤. I won't be surprised if. I wouldn't be surprised if, I mean, I don't think, I don't think I need to explain this. It's pretty, it's an expression that I think most of you understand immediately when you hear it or immediately when you see it. But it's, again, one of those expressions that you don't use very often, right? 혹시 if 뒤에 even이 생략된 건가요? I wouldn't be surprised even if not always. You could say I wouldn't be surprised even if. I guess that could emphasize the I guess that could emphasize the hypothetical aspects of whatever it is you're talking about, but it's not always there. It's not always there. Right, we covered that too, right. We've covered this a number of times. And again, this is one of those expressions, just like, what was the other one? Oh, so it feels wrong not to. It felt wrong not to. Just like that, this is one of those expressions that doesn't seem very special, but it's just really, really useful. There are a lot of moments where we actually, this expression becomes very useful. So I wouldn't be surprised if da-da-da-da-da. I wouldn't be surprised if. Yes, JB, you are hearing music. It's not too loud, is it? I don't know. Just for some reason, the silence is just very awkward to me this morning. So I wouldn't be surprised if we pulled off something like this. I think in that example, it was the opposite. I think it was I would be surprised. I would be surprised if we could pull off something like this again. I think that was the example in the book. Right. 맨날 늦는 동료에게. I wouldn't be surprised if he is late. If he's late. Yeah, you could say if he were late as well. Wow, you're having chicken. Like fried chicken? I don't often stream in the morning. I have been trying really hard to stream as often as I can. Once in the morning and once late at night. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. 교재를 시작하는 게 좋을지, 매일 영어 일기를 쓰고 첨삭받는 게 좋을지 방법을 잘 모르겠어요. SK님. 한국어를 배우는 외국인이 같은 고민을 하고 있다고 상상을 해보세요. 어느 외국인이 있는데 한국어를 배우려고 하고 있어요. SK님이랑 똑같은 고민을 하고 있어요. SK님이 그 외국인에게 어떤 조언을 해줄지 한번 생각을 해보세요. 그리고 절대로 나는 전문가가 아니니까 난 조언해줄 수 없어. 이거는 스스로에게 거짓말을 하는 거예요. 한국어를 다들 하잖아요. 한국어를 어떻게 배우는지 충분히 조언해 줄 수 있어요. 누구나 도움을 줄 수도 있고요. 거기에 벌써 답이 있어요. 왜냐면 영어는 한국어처럼 그냥 언어일 뿐이에요. As I always say, English is just a language, just like any other language. Okay? And when it comes to how we learn a language, it's all the same. It's all the same. I wouldn't be surprised if he turned out to be gay. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if, something or someone turned out to be... This is another very commonly used phrase, I guess. Phrase, pattern, whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't be surprised if something turned out to be something or someone turned out to be something. I wouldn't be surprised if it rains tomorrow. Sky looks cloudy. Okay, that's another good one. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go through. It's been about an hour since we started, so I think I'm gonna go. Whoa, wait. Oh, and the last thing I want you guys to focus on is 어느 여자가 나한테 오더니 뭐라고 하더라. 자, 이 부분이요. This is one of those things that we've covered in the past. So how did I phrase this in my story? Right, a woman came up to me. A woman came up to me and asked da 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 da. So this is one of those patterns that is very important for you to get used to, because we tend to say things like this a lot. In our day-to-day speech, we tend to say things a lot, right? 어느 여자가 나한테 오더니 뭐뭐라고 하더라, 뭐뭐라고 묻더라, right? And if you don't focus on things like this, it's really these things are really hard to learn, because not a lot of phrases and patterns like this don't get a lot of attention from learners, because there's really nothing special about it. There are no vocabularies or outstanding expressions that make this very noticeable. Like, oh, I should learn that. And so we often lose the opportunity to learn really, really important and commonly used patterns like this. But things like this is really what will allow you to actually use the language on a day-to-day basis, to talk about normal stuff. Okay? So really pay attention to this one, along with a lot of other things, all right? So a man came up to me. I want you to practice this using different subjects as well, right? Like a little kid came up to me, a small child came up to me. This dog came up to me. The security guard came up to me and asked me, who I was or where I was going, and so on and so forth, right? Okay. Right, so this is a good example. A customer just came up to me and started complaining out of nowhere. Okay, very good. Is this true, Hannah? Hopefully it's not true. Hopefully she's just making it up. A woman came up to me and asked if I knew her. 저 아세요? Like this? Yeah. A woman came up to me and asked where the church was. Oh, okay. People tend to focus on something more catchy. Right. So, see, that's what happens when you solely rely on content that has been designed and that has been targeted for learners, right? Like education content, right? When you only rely your learning on that's what happens. Like you only learn things with catchy names and things that can have catchy titles, and so you lose the opportunity to learn really normal stuff like this. This man just came up to me and asked my name. Is that true? Say, hey, what's your name? It sounds like the kind of thing Joey would do from the sitcom Friends. Hey, how you doing? What's your name? What do they call you around here? Do they call that, what is that, catcalling? I have no doubt that this actually happened. Just look at this. A guy came up to me and asked me where Pickled was. I have absolutely no doubt that this actually happened. Yep, no doubt. No doubt. All right. Okay, I think I'm going to go through the story about 3 more times just so you can become more familiar with how it sounds and how it's used. And it's, for me, I think repetition, as I always say, repetition is always very important. And it's something that I personally experience, like in other areas of my life. Like when I watch the same movie, I tend to watch the same movie because I enjoy it. But sometimes, as I'm watching the same movie over and over again, every now and then I tend to notice things that I never noticed before. And some of those are very profound things that I'm really surprised that I never noticed before. But anyway, so that's kind of what we're looking for when we're doing these repeated readings, okay? So, my wife and I took our dogs out yesterday. We went to Jongro in Seoul, and we spent pretty much the entire day out there. We don't go to Seoul all that often unless duty calls. But it was so beautiful out yesterday, as most of you probably already know, and it just felt wrong not to be out there. We had actually considered going somewhere farther away, but we decided that we didn't want too much of the day to slip by on the road. We didn't do anything special in Seoul, but we didn't need to because, like I said, it was so nice out, and it was just really nice to be out there. And we didn't need to do anything special. Plus, there's nothing that Amber loves more than to just hook up with random strangers on the street and just spend time with them. Which is why we chose Jongno, of all places, because we figured that's where she would get to meet a lot of people. Because it was, like I said, it was so nice out, and it was a Sunday, and so wherever people like to hang out, I mean, you can imagine that there are a lot of people like everywhere, right? And so, and boy, did she meet a lot of people. At one point, Amber was surrounded by so many people that it felt like a petting zoo. And people were like gathering, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of those people thought it was actually an organized event because there were so many people. And one woman actually came up to me and asked who Amber was. She was like, "Oh, so who is this?" And so I just told her, "That's my dog." 최진수님, if it was my first time here, someone came up to you and asked you if it was your first time there? Okay. A woman came up to me and told me I had a pure soul. Wow, she's such a sweet person. That's such a sweet lady, isn't it? Did you thank her? See someone. Did you thank her? If someone came up to me and told me I had a pure soul, I would say, "Oh, thank you. You're so nice. I wish I could say the same for you, but I don't know you at all." "Oh, excuse me, but you have such a pure soul." Don't I? I know that too. I get that a lot. Thank you. Have a nice day. I think that's all you need to do. When someone comes up to you and tells you that you have a pure soul, just say, "I think so too. I couldn't agree more. Have a nice day." Well, whatever it's intended to do, that's how you should accept it. Just thank them. That's a nice thing to say to somebody, that they have a pure soul. So my wife and I took our dogs out yesterday. We went to Jongro in Seoul, and we spent pretty much the entire day out there. We don't go to Seoul all that often unless duty calls. But it was so beautiful out, as many of you already know, that it just felt wrong not to be out on a day like that. And we had considered going somewhere farther away, but we decided that we didn't want too much of the day to slip by on the road. And we didn't do anything special in Seoul. We just, it was just so nice just to be out there. And there's nothing that Amber loves more than to just meet up with random strangers on the street and just spend time with them, which is why we chose Jongno, of all places, because we figured that's where she would get to meet a lot of people. And boy, did she meet a lot of people. At one point, she was surrounded by so many people that it felt like a petting zoo. I felt like I was working for a petting zoo, and I was handling Amber. In fact, this one woman came up to me and asked me who Amber was. She was like, "Oh, so who is this?" And I just told her, that's my dog. Yeah, you should say that. Excuse me, but can I just say you have such a pure soul, sir? Oh, thank you. I get that a lot. Thank you. I hope your soul becomes pure someday as well. I wish you the best. Yeah. Yeah, I get that a lot. You really did say that? You, you said that? I get that a lot. Thanks. Oh, it's so nice of you to notice. Oh, it's so nice of you to notice. I get that a lot. Oh, really? Oh, that reminds me of one of the strangest encounters that I've had in public. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but one of the strangest encounters that I've had with a stranger on the street was it was a rainy day, I remember, and I was waiting to cross the street because I was on my way to work. I was taking the bus at the time, and so all I needed to do was cross the street and take the bus. And so I was waiting right in front of the crosswalk with my umbrella, and this man came up to me. It was a rainy day, but this was an old man. He only had a few strings of hair left on his head, and he was only wearing his underwear. Yeah, he was in his underwear, and he had slippers on. He looked almost exactly like the Beast from Kung Fu Hustle. Have you guys seen that movie? He looked almost exactly like the guy. The Beast from Kung Fu Hustle. Do you know this guy? Do you know the Beast from Kung Fu Hustle? Do you know who I'm talking about? The Beast from Kung Fu Hustle. He looked almost exactly like him. Wait, let me see if I can pull it up. Kung Fu Hustle Beast. Yeah. Wait, let me wait, how do I share this? Damn. He looked almost exactly like this guy. He looked almost exactly like this guy. Like he only had a few strings of hair left on his head. Yeah, he was wearing this exact same wife beaters, and he had like underwear boxers, and he had slippers on, right? And one thing that was different. I think he was wearing glasses. The guy that I encountered with, I think he was wearing glasses, and he came up to me. he came up to me and I remember I had my earphones on. And he said something, and I took one earphone out, and I said, excuse me? And he said, 자네 막강한가? 내가 자네보다 막강하네. That was exactly his words. 자네 막강한가? 내가 자네보다 막강. I'm like, what the? And no, seriously. That was probably that was the strangest encounter with a stranger that I've had. And he seemed either drunk or, I don't know, maybe he was senile. Maybe, I have no idea. And I said, okay. That's what I told you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I can see that. Of course, I said that in Korean. I said, 네, 알겠습니다. That's what I said. Or something along those lines. I said something. I smiled because I thought it was so funny. First, I was kind of, taken aback a little. It's like, what the hell is this? And then I soon noticed that he was probably drunk or something. I said, 네, 알겠습니다. I said, yes, sir. Oh, that was so funny. This guy. I think so. That was back when I was working at YBM Premiere. So that was probably, and I was living in Kunjadong. And I was near the Kunja 사거리, I think. And so that was probably like 2000. Oh wait, I started working there in 2008. So that was probably like 2009 or 2010 or something like that. Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard anybody else use that expression 막강하다. 자네 막강한가? And he said I don't think I responded after he asked me the question. I just said, what? 내가 자네보다 막강하네. I said, yes, sir. Absolutely, no doubt. There is huge Daiso in Kunjadong. You mean Daiso, right? I mean, clearly he was stronger than me. All right. Look, guys, I think that's pretty much all I'm gonna cover today. I hope you got something out of this story today, anything at all. And at the very least, I hope this gave you some exercise, some English exercise this morning. All right. Okay. Actually, I can hear the laundry machine ending. You know the musical melody that plays when the laundry machine finishes its work? I think I hear that right now, so I'm going to go downstairs and take care of that. And then look at the time. It's already 8 o'clock. It's time for Amber and Brody's breakfast. So I'm going to go and feed the dogs and let them out, let them do their business. And yeah, I'm going to, get on some other work, I guess. Okay, so have a great rest of your day today. I'll see you guys really soon. Oh, right. I have to copy and paste this thing. Oh, wait. Maybe I should copy and paste the entire story. That's probably what I should do, right? Hold on a second. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, so I've just copied and pasted the entire story. I'm not sure how well I did with the punctuations, but I think it's good enough. Save. All right, there you go. Okay. All right. Have a good one, you guys. See you guys later.